Hey guys, I'm Jesszman, and this is my Uncharted 3 multiplayer question and answers episode 3. Now these questions come from YouTube user madsdsccx. And first question, madsd asks, if you chose one character of any other Sony PlayStation 3 game, presumably an exclusive, for a new Uncharted 3 multiplayer skin, who would he or she be? Now I've actually done a lot of thinking about this since Uncharted 3 came out, and since we had the new Killzone 3 skin coming out. I would choose the new Infamous 2 Cole because I just like his design. It was very nice. I do like that more than I do Infamous 1 Cole. So seeing Infamous 2 Cole complete with like lightning cackling on his arms and all over his body would be very, very nice. And like I'd like for them to add little special effects to Cole just to give him that little flair. Like instead of him meleeing with his fists, or with the gun, I like to see him actually take out his amp and hit you with it. But I don't want them to give you extra range because you have the amp. I just want to see just a little cool effect, and like I like to see special assassination for Cole with his amp, just like character specific assassinations. But of course that's not going to happen because Naughty Dog isn't that creative with their character skins. Why they would put a knife on any of the characters is beyond me, and not use it in the game. Oh well, yeah. So I like to see Infamous 1 Cole or Infamous 2 Cole, even if he doesn't have any special additions to him. Just being able to play as him in the game would be a nice addition to the Uncharted 3 multiplayer skin roster. So question number 2: do you think Uncharted 3 wasn't what I expected, and if so, why? I've actually done a lot of thinking about that too, and yeah, it honestly wasn't what I expected it to be, and that's just because coming off with a high that was Uncharted 2, I spent so much time playing that game, it was ridiculous, and with Uncharted 3, I'm not burnt out of the game, it's just that I feel that certain areas of the game aren't as fleshed out as Uncharted 1. There are things that Naughty Dog took out of Uncharted 2. There are things that Naughty Dog took out of Uncharted 3 that were present in Uncharted 2, like some of the bonuses that were included in the single-player campaign that were accessible only after you beat the game on your first playthrough. Some of these being the ability to choose what skin Drake was when you were in battle, and the ability to spawn weapons at will. Now, although these things were minor, it's just things I liked in Uncharted 2, and it's something that did make it unique, and the fact that they took it out of Uncharted 3, yeah, I just didn't like it. It's just not something that I found very favorable, and there's a lot more things, like the fact that there are a lot of glitches in Uncharted 3, and the spawn system is messed up, and the matchmaking is messed up. Just a lot of little things. You got your overpowered weapons as well, and there are some cons to the whole loadout system. But I'm gonna save most of those things for a rant video in the future date. But yeah, it isn't what I expected it to be. I really did expect it to be a lot better. But it's not to say that I'm necessarily disappointed with the game. It didn't meet my standards, but it is still by far a very good game, and I do recommend that you guys purchase it whenever you can. If not for the single player, if not for the multiplayer, then for the pretty good single player. But I do recommend that you get Uncharted 2 first, because that kind of did have a better single player in my opinion. Next up, if you created a new Uncharted game, what would it be called? I honestly don't know what I would name a new Uncharted title. I'm not really much for creativity in that department, so I'm actually gonna skip that question. I'm sorry, Mad SD. That kind of caught me off guard, but maybe I will answer that question in a future video. So next question: do you think that the end of Uncharted 3 was good? This is another mixed response. It was good in a sense, but it also was bad in a sense as well. Still coming off of Uncharted 2 and Infamous 2, those endings were so much better than Uncharted 3, and I liked those a heck of a lot better than the ending for Uncharted 3. But Uncharted 3's ending was action-packed, and it did have a nice final boss battle. But again, I did feel that there was more left to be desired. Like as I said in my Uncharted 3 review, the fact that they took out a lot of focus on the side characters was it was stupid in my opinion. And the side characters are what made the game, and the fact that they just focused mostly upon Drake and Sully was very dismaying and just wasn't something that I liked. And I think that was a reason why I didn't like Uncharted 1 at all, just because it didn't have many likable characters. But yeah, so no, I didn't really think it was okay, but it wasn't as spectacular, and it didn't have me on the edge of my seat like Uncharted 2's ending did, or Infamous 2's ending did, for that matter. So question number 5, do you think that Uncharted 3 will ever have a successor for the PS3? Now this question is similar to the question that was asked in my last video by Major Boothroyd 007, but no, I do not think that we will have a successor to Uncharted 3 for this generation of consoles, unless you count the Vita, but that's not necessarily a successor since it takes place before Uncharted 1 and it's on a completely different console. But no, I don't think we're gonna have a successor, because most likely Naughty Dog is gonna take 2 years to make Uncharted 4, if there is going to be an Uncharted 4 after this. And if they do that, that's most likely gonna come after we start up the next generation of consoles, or if we haven't, then it'll most likely end the PS3's life cycle. But I really hope that they make Uncharted 4 for the next console and get familiar with it, so they can kind of pump out what they can out of that console instead of going towards the limits of this one. Because again, the limits of this console have basically been already tapped, and I do believe that we do need to start a new generation of home console entertainment systems. But anyway, that's all we have for this Q&A session. I'm Jesszman. Send me your questions to my YouTube inbox, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.